We got the purple iPhone 14 Pro here, and we've been using it for a couple days alongside with my 13 Pro, which I've had here over the year. I definitely enjoy that a bunch, but there are some upgrades with this 14 Pro, some refinements. Just the tech is getting better as it always does, so let's jump into it. What I liked about this phone, who should be getting this phone, and everything else. So when these iPhone 14s dropped a few days ago, they also released the new operating system, iOS 16, for all of the iPhones. And this really gave my 13 Pro a nice little facelift, and I didn't feel so bad that I didn't have plans to upgrade to the 14. I was fortunate enough to get my hands on a 14 Pro, and with it using iOS 16 as well, I'm holding them side by side. It's very hard to tell the difference what's going on with what. The iPhone 14 does come with the new A16 processor, which is reported to give it 18% more power, speed, juice, all the good stuff. And I could definitely tell a difference on how snappy all the apps were working, how the motion graphics were just popping up right away, super smooth. And that could also be due to the newer screen that these iPhone 14s have. You have an OLED screen on your phone now. I've been waiting for OLED televisions to come down in price, because when you put the two side by side, I mean, it's night and day how good these OLED screens are compared to what we're all looking at normally. So the iPhone 14s have that. That's great. Your games are gonna look sweet. Your movies are gonna look sweet. Television shows are all gonna look awesome. It's gonna make the videos and photos that you take on the iPhone look better. And we'll jump into all that later on the camera system, because there's a lot to talk about on that as well. If you're just interested in a couple of things, I've got the channels posted down below. You can check them out, save yourself some time. So when I went to pick up this new iPhone 14, I asked one of the Apple Store employees, who has been coming in to get these new iPhone 14s? And I was told that it was a lot of iPhone 11 users that have been waiting to upgrade. Now it's finally here. Finally, they can make the jump from the 11 to the 14. So if you are one of these users with anything below the 11, definitely check out this upgrade. Your service providers, once these phones drop, they're all having these big giveaways. You can usually upgrade for free. A lot of these service providers they just buy them in bulk, and it's a big sale for everybody. If you can get this upgrade, make sure you get the 1 terabyte storage. I know it sounds crazy, but I've been doing that for the whole year. I haven't had to worry about running out of space ever. It's a way better user experience with the phone. So we're staring at this thing all day long. You got it in your pocket 24/7. Definitely make it something that you want and something that's gonna help you out. So back to the 14s. Another thing that I really liked was this new dynamic island. So someone came up with the bright idea that you can just do a little bit of smoke and mirrors and transform this notch now into a usable and enjoyable small little graphics up above. Just these little blobs bouncing around. It's nice. There's already a ton of apps using it, NPR, Spotify, all the music apps. You get these cool notifications up above. You can have multiple ones running, and what I really liked was the timer and stopwatch feature that would be showing up above. I was able to swap back and forth between the different applications and still seeing how much time I had running down on the clock. So definitely a cool little feature that is appreciated. So let's jump into the cameras, because that's what I was most intrigued about. We have new lenses, we've got new sensors, we've got a new processing engine called the photogenic engine. And looking at these photos up on the big screen, they are pretty dang good. The video quality is still a little funny looking. It can be smudged a little. There's definitely the flare gate going on, but to have this in your phone is mind blowing at the very least. I think I've seen the whole progression of the camera in the cell phone, and from what it used to be to what it is now, like, this is a real tool that you can use to get professional footage. It's not the best. It's not gonna rival your DSLR by far, but in a pinch, it's great for getting time lapses, establishing shots, behind the scenes, social media. This is like your content creating, gathering tool. And if you dabble in photography and videography, you're gonna want the best capabilities on this phone that you have in your pocket. So if you have to have a phone at all, which we do, they all have cameras. You should probably get the best of the best. because this is the camera that sits with you in your pocket all day long, every day. Street photographers know how much of a pain this is. Over the years, it's always all we wanted was just a small little perfect camera that takes really high quality photos, but that you can still stuff in your pocket and keep it low pro. So now you just pull out this iPhone 14, you keep it in Pro RAW mode, you get the 48 megapixel shots. Sure, it takes a long time to get them off the phone. You gotta be diligent about offloading all this stuff constantly. Now, one tip I do have on shooting with these that I mentioned, get that terabyte option. I know it sounds crazy. I felt crazy for getting it with the 13 Pro, but it was definitely one of the best decisions I have made about that 13 Pro. And there's still space left to go. So the cinematic mode can now shoot in 4K, which is pretty nice, and it looks great on small screens like your phone. I put the f-stop all the way over to 16, and I just give it just a touch of blur, and it looks really good. And if you treat it like a real camera, you add some lights in here and there, you can get some really impressive footage. The one part that would make me cringe though was when I kicked it into 3x zoom and watched that back on the big screen. That's when you can really start seeing artifacts. So really the best footage you are getting from this is in the wide and the 1x lens. To have one of those periscope style zooms that are on all the S22 Ultras, implement that into the iPhone, and that's going to be a game changer. And there are rumors that it is coming on the next one. But for now, with your wide angles, you're getting 20% more light compared to last year, which is huge. And then you're able to tap into this 48 megapixel shooting mode. I still love the macro mode, and it feels like with all the processing upgrades, I found this to be even easier to shoot macro mode. You just stuff your camera in there and boom, it's ready to go. It's just a really nice experience using this phone for photos and videos, and you can just keep going farther and farther into the rabbit hole of how many different styles and techniques you can get just shooting with the phone. And if you're doing social media, YouTube stuff, this is all you really need for a lot of it. This can give you that second angle that you can just toss this now to anyone and be like, hey, can you film me while I'm doing this? I mean, everyone knows how to use the cell phone, and so everyone is a camera person at your disposal now. So I say, even though with its small refinement, it's another great release of the iPhone from Apple. It doesn't have everything we wanted just yet, but these phones now are getting so good. Now that it's all about the refinement technique and finally filling in those holes, checking off the boxes for the Apple takeover. So if it's time for you to upgrade, pop on into your local store and see if they can hook you up with one of these free phones. And then you'll be all set for 2023 and the upcoming holidays. You'll be the one taking the nicest photos and selfies of the family. So thank you everyone for watching. Please hit that subscribe button and join the channel if you want to see some more in-depth camera reviews of the low light performance on this iPhone 14. I've got a bunch more B-roll footage that I'm going to share with everyone and explain what's going on. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope to see you at the next one. Take care.